Sing. We're all trying to find our way in the world. We look for a job that pays the bills and leaves some spare cash for luxuries, a night out with friends, or to build up our savings. We want a career that's interesting, perhaps aligned with our passion or the dream we have of the sort of life we want to lead. If that's not possible, we want, at the very least, to work and earn enough to buy time to pursue our passion and dream. We hope the job we find will be one we want to turn up for. Challenging work, a respectful environment, friendly colleagues, intelligent management. We hope that on any day we need to go to work, we wake with enthusiasm and the energy to take on whatever the world throws at us. Too often, know that's just a fantasy. We struggle to maintain energy. We struggle to maintain commitment to a job that saps our will to live and barely pays enough to make survival possible. Or we have to work so hard that, however much we earn, our job is the only thing we do. We see our future stretching out towards a mountain range called burnout. Or perhaps, if we've managed to find work that's related to our passion and dream, we find it takes so much out of us, and so much of it is doing things that make the work possible, not doing the work itself, that our passion and our dreams begin to feel absurd. We feel as if we're fools for wanting to live a great life. We achieve our dream life, but it ends up more like a nightmare. Meanwhile, everyone on social media is living their best life. Memes and motivational speakers tell us we just need to buy this, do that, believe X, Y, or Z, and everything will be okay. So we try again, each time with a diminished sense of what's possible and what we're going to achieve in our life. We put up with a diminishing sense of possibility. It can be very confusing. And it's not just in the world of work. We find ourselves overcommitted to other people, giving too much and getting too little back. Or we can't connect. Or we find, or at least feel, that we'll never find the love of our life or live a life like we're in the sort of movie we watch on a Friday night, sat alone on the sofa, too tired to meet up with friends who are also sitting alone and feeling just a little sad. We wonder whether we're just not very good at being who we are, let alone who we'd like to be. Feeling bad, we become oversensitive. Kindly criticism stings, and so we react unkindly. Or we curl up inside. We become lonely, isolated from the world and from ourselves. We join the international epidemic of lonely people. Or worse, our thoughts feel as if they're attacking us, and we spiral towards poor mental health. We seek continually to connect online while too scared to connect with the real world we live in. Sometimes we feel a yearning for a simple life, yet we're addicted to complexity. We know we're happiest when fully present with a person, book, film, or a tree. But constantly we seek distraction and an immediate unhealthy hit of dopamine to make ourselves feel a little better right now. As we struggle to find balance or even basic happiness, The endless screaming voices of individual responsibility say we need to change our mindset, learn new skills, work harder, eat differently, join this or that group. If we're unhappy, it's all our own fault. We're not trying hard enough. We're not good enough. We just need to buy one more thing. We're failing. And it becomes just a little harder to leave the safe space of our own self-pitying survival thoughts. If we look beyond our own struggles, what do we see? We live in economic systems that are challenging and soul-destroying for everyone except a tiny minority. We're surrounded by media that focus on oligarchs and celebrities as if to suggest that if we work just a little harder, we too could soar above struggle and worry. We're immersed in a celebrity circus, all facade and fanfare with nothing of substance behind it. We're unsustainably disconnected from nature. We evolved over hundreds of thousands of years as an integral part of a complex and interconnected world. And now we act as if that world is not a part of us. We put it on the other side of an uncrossable divide and call it nature. We have ripped out a crucial part of who we are, individually and as communities. As we've come to dominate the planet, our decision to divorce from our natural self is having a catastrophic consequence for both humans and the biosphere we're part of. We see it in climate change, species loss, pollution, and the other intersecting crises of our times. We see it too in our alienation from ourselves as animals, angelic animals perhaps, who live as part of an animal world. We act with barbarity and cruelty that no other creature exhibits, and daily commit the unforgivable foolishness of destroying the only home we have. It's all very confusing. Many of us struggle to find satisfactory connection with ourselves, with others, and with the natural world. Many of us feel we no longer belong, or never did, to a world that seems to have no place for us except as an economic unit at the service of someone else's dream. Confusing. Too often we're too tired, numbed or hopeless to try to work it out, so we accept. This is just how things are, we think, and drift through life trying to grab what pleasures we can and avoid the worst of the disappointments. Is it inevitable? I think not. Can we change? I believe we can. That's what Self with Others is about. It's about change for you, for each of us, for our communities, our societies, our planet. All those changes are interconnected because all of us are interconnected. We can move beyond the image of ourselves as isolated individuals and choose instead to become interconnected. In reality, we're already interconnected, so perhaps that just means changing how we see ourselves and our world. We need to see interconnection instead of division, relationship rather than suspicion, dynamic possibility rather than giving up and making do. Not the isolated individual, but the interconnected self. To make that shift, we need solid ground to stand on. We need a framework for looking at ourselves in the world. I'm not talking about a belief system. I'm talking about a way of thinking about our lives that gives clear perspectives, provokes useful insights, and allows us to have better shared communication. Let's keep it simple. Just call it solid ground to stand on. The solid ground I propose is self with others. I call it a framework for thriving in an interconnected world. It offers a 360-degree perspective on the life we're living and a set of practical strategies to enable each and all of us to live better. It's based in practical research backed up by decades of reading and lived experience. I can't promise learning about self with others will end confusion. Life is confusing. I encourage us to live joyously and with personal power in this unknowable world. Life is gloriously unpredictable, sometimes exasperating, absolutely dynamic, and, for all of us at times, overwhelming. That's what life is. There's no point fighting what is. If that's what life is, then let's thrive amid the unpredictable awesomeness of each unfolding day. Let's fly during the good times and develop deep resilience to pass through the tough times. We need to interconnect, to give and receive support, love and inspiration. And perhaps above all, we need to cherish, nurture and heal this planet, which is the source of every single breath we take. That's the solid ground self with others proposes.